Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's online session. I hope you all have a coffee. I definitely have one. And yeah, we're going to have a very nice chat this morning. I'm going to start off by saying we are all selling. We are all salesmen. And I'll explain a little bit later. But to start off with, my name is Eugene. I'm a technology entrepreneur. I've built various technology companies, and I'm really fascinated with sales, technology, and psychology. Sorry about that. And I'm sure it'll become quite apparent during this morning's quick discussion with you guys. So a quick explanation just of the interface. If it's your first time on a webinar, please comment on the section. Good morning, Alta. Thank you for joining. I can see there's a whole bunch of people that have joined. It's great to have you guys online. You will see on your, I'm going to try and simulate it. You'll see on the left-hand side, you can take comments. I've currently made the comments private so that it's not public discussions. So anything you say, hello, Loki, how's it, Donnie? Anything that you say, I will see. And I can comment on, but I'm not really going to comment because I'm, well, hopefully going to give you guys a presentation. So I'm sure at this stage you are thinking by yourself, well, when you signed up for this webinar that I'm going to talk about webinars, and the question now is, am I talking, is this a webinar, a webinar, or is it all about sales? So please allow me to also share my screen with you guys. So that you have something, you don't just have to look at my face the whole time. So the first thing is, welcome to selling. And let's start off the, in my world, to quickly answer the question if this is a technology webinar or a sales webinar, I'm going to start off with a sales discussion, and I'll bring it back to how webinars can really help your business and can really help you close sales. So allow me to quickly go through a little sales discussion. So the question that I have is, why am I saying that everyone's a salesman? What's driving that? So my thinking has always been that we were actually born salesmen, to be honest. I always say that in my face-to-face workshops that some people like selling, some people don't like selling, but we were all born salesmen. When we started off as a baby and you were born, to be honest, the first thing you did was actually close the sale, because what did you want to do? You wanted attention and food. And I'm fairly certain if you're watching this webinar, you were able to get that. So I think you very successfully closed your first sale on that. But even as adults, we are constantly selling ourselves. We are, if you put on makeup in the morning, if you dress up at all, like I've put on a nice little golf shirt this morning, and that is to sell. It's either to sell yourself or to sell a product. But I believe everything around us is sales driven. So to start off our little poll here, I'm quickly gonna ask you guys the first question, and that is that, do you think that everyone is a salesman? So you guys will see that there's a pop-up. Just answer. Do you think everyone's a salesman? Yes, I think we are. No, I don't. Oh, sorry, I see I haven't shared it. There we go. Okay, so the first, is everyone a salesman? Do you guys agree, or don't you agree? I'll share with you guys the answer a little bit later. Okay, so it's interesting because 80% of you guys have actually said that we are all salesmen. So my question, my discussion is then going to go towards your ability to sell. Now, on the one side, people may have a need for an existing product. In other words, they might want to buy something. Let's say you want to buy a fridge or a broom or something. I'm not really addressing that need. I'm not really addressing that type of buyer, because if that is the case, then all you really need to do is market and be found online, which is a digital marketing principle of advertise on all the platforms so that people know what you do. And if they're really looking for something, let's say they want to buy a Kelvinator stove, they know to get it at Macro, as an example. But the problem with most businesses are people don't know what they don't know. In other words, that you are inevitably, you have to present to them what you do. And that becomes quite difficult. So from everything that you do in a business, my question to you would be, what is the most important thing in your business at the moment? Most of you guys, if I look online, have registered through businesses, you've got business emails. So I need to just drag this. I'm quickly going to ask you the next poll, which is, in your business, what is the most important? Managing the business, or developing new products, doing marketing, maybe digital marketing, or selling? So it's going to be quite interesting to see what you guys say. We've got quite a lot of people online. I can see people are voting for sales. Oh, there's someone managing business. That's great. Thanks a lot for your answers. I think it's also based on personal experience of what you want to do, and I'll quickly go through it. I'll give you guys I see the answers are coming in. Most of you guys seem to have answered. It seems that 60% is going towards selling, which is my answer. My answer towards what's the most important thing in business is selling. And the main reason for that is that without a sale, the business doesn't exist. And I know the argument can go, yes, without products and without, but at the end of the day, none of the stuff before a sale is actually important, or will even exist if you don't close the sale. Now, how do you close a sale and how do people react? So in today's world, and I'm not talking about Corona or the lockdown in South Africa or worldwide, I'm very specifically talking about the new consumer. So the new consumer reacts to a certain way if you sell. If you have to sell to him, you have to convince them how to do. So I'm quickly going to give you guys a quick explanation. And that is that I'm going to start at probably the worst environment you can. And that is that are you influenced by technology to make your decision to make a buy? Now, the reason why I ask that is quite simple, is that when you want to sell something, and remember, I'll bring this back to webinars now. If you want to sell something, people react to the marketing that you do. So as an example, if someone sends out bulk SMSs, my question is that, would you buy something from a bulk SMS? I think, I'm not doing it as a poll, but I think the general answer would be no, that you're not going to buy anything from an SMS. Let's take it a little bit further. Let's make it a little bit more personal. Let's say that someone phones you, but in most cases, these phone calls are unsolicited calls. So you get a call from an insurance company saying, listen, we're selling insurance or we're selling mobile contracts. I think that the average answer is you put the phone down, try not to be rude, but the reality is that you're not going to buy from that. If you then take it a little bit further, TV, something you can see, maybe you get into emails, which obviously we specialize in as personalized emails. And if you're really good with emails, you'll send out emails that are very focused and aimed at what you think the consumer must be. But ultimately, so if I've got all this from SMSs to emails set up, and you can see that there's an increase in how your interest as a buyer would be. But then I've got something always interesting, which is what I call the coffee at Mug and Bean. For anyone signing up overseas, Mug and Bean is a coffee shop in South Africa. And my question is always to people that if you have the ability, if you have the chance to take a customer out for a coffee, and at Mug and Bean, where I always frequent, and you have an hour to send in, my question to you would be, are you able to close a sale if you take someone out for a coffee? So I'm going to do that as a poll again. So think about it, that if you send SMSs out, I don't think you're going to get a response, but all the way through to taking someone out for a coffee, do you think you can close a sale? What are your chances of closing a sale if you can actually talk to someone, if you can actually convince someone? on buying your stuff. And this poll is actually quite active, because I see you guys have started answering almost immediately. What is great is that it actually confirms what we have found in our face-to-face workshops, is literally 80%, it's standing on 80%, says that if we have the chance to see someone face-to-face, I'll most probably be able to close the sale. In other words, there's an 80% chance of it. Now my question is, why is that? Why is it easier to sell face-to-face than it is to sell through digital media? And that sort of leads to where webinars come in for us. Sorry, I'm just reading some comments here. I'd like to ask you guys, actually, it's not in a poll, but maybe in the chat, why do you think it's very difficult to sell using technology? And I mean, from SMS to email to maybe digital technology includes TV, but anyone that's in marketing realizes that it's quite difficult. So I see we've got quite a lot of new sign-ups here. Welcome, Ed from Cape Town. Nice to have you on board. I think you might have joined a little bit late. But again, for those that are already online that knows the questions I've asked is, I find it quite difficult to market and to sell digitally. Now, the problem with that is that, as most of you guys have said now online, is that it's easy to close a sale if someone can see me, if I take them out for a coffee. The problem with that is obviously you can't take 1,000 people out for coffee. I mean, it'll be great for the coffee industry. It's not going to be great for your energy levels, considering the caffeine you're gonna. But the reality is that you can't take 1,000 people out for coffee. So if you look at the marketing supply chain, if I can call it that, the marketing build-up is that from SMSs, you're going to get no responses, from all the way through to emails. Emails are still probably one of the most personalized ways that you can market and influence people. But then there's a gap to the coffee, to where you can see people. And the reason for that is trust, is that people in today's world, the modern consumer, buys almost exclusively on trust. In the past, we had only salespeople, we had telephone calls, and salespeople were known to build relationships, and the sale was all based on trust. Even if you go to a bank, you will build up a relationship with someone at your bank, and if that person probably moves to a different bank, you will even consider moving that. The problem now in today's world is that it's very impersonal. I mean, to send an SMS, to make a phone call, I don't know if you guys receive those phone calls where it's even automated. I mean, how lazy can you get? I absolutely hate those. If the guys can't even get a person to pick up a phone and give you a call, and it's just a recording, I mean, that's lazy as you can get. I absolutely hate that. But none of those things build any form of trust. And Brian, yes, I mean, exactly. Technology without face-to-face is like spam. I absolutely agree, and I think we all suffer from that. But you've got a business, so what avenues do you take to do your marketing and sales without the coffee? You're still going to do the coffee. So building trust for me is basically broken down into us as a species. As humans, we are social. We react to social mannerisms. We react to social interests. And the reason why coffee with someone is effective is because you can see the guy and you can hear the guy. Ed, I agree. I hate receiving this automated stuff. But sorry, back to my point. I get distracted with the chats, but please keep them coming, and you guys are welcome to give thumbs ups as well. You'll see if I go down there, there's a little thumbs up icons as well. But just to get back to my story, is that sales are based on trust, and most probably on the two main senses, which is audio and visual. So if you look at SMSs and all those things, obviously it refers to your visual side. If you get a phone call, it's only audio. Your perfect combination is obviously visual and audio, and then within a personal space. So in my view, where online events and webinars have been available for a couple of years, but obviously now with Corona, that's given the world a real injection, and everyone in business has to really think, how am I going to survive? How am I going to do business? And remember, bringing it back, you need to do sales. Now, the problem is, while you're sitting at home, while customers aren't buying, you don't have the chance for coffee at Mug and Bean. To be honest, I don't think Mug and Bean is open. So the problem is, how do I get from emails or SMSs, or let's hope you guys don't do that. But let's take emails, which we love. Is if you send personalized emails, and the gap between coffee, we believe that webinars and online events can really play a powerful role there. In my case, I mean, I'm a specialist in sales and marketing. Some of you guys might have been on my workshops. My cornerstone or anchor stone workshop last year, or the last 2 years, was called The Big Picture of Modern Day Marketing. It was a face-to-face event, which, guess what, that's off the table now. So the only way for me to then engage with clients is to fill the gap between emails. So we're still doing emails, but I still want that coffee. I still want that face-to-face interaction. Now, in my view, that's where online events called webinars. So the reason why I call them online events, just so that you know, is I absolutely hate the word webinar. I think it's a horrible word for what the online event technology can do. And it also refers to sort of seminar. None of us like a seminar. It's sort of something your boss sends you to and you have to cope with. I would love to change the word webinar into online events. But then again, most people won't know what I'm talking about. So where webinars come in is that I think it fills a very strong gap between the ability to talk and see. You guys can see me, and you can see my mannerisms and everything. And then, although I haven't turned anyone's speaker on, in other words, it's not a full, because otherwise it would go absolutely crazy. But I can definitely see your comments. I can see the stuff you do. You guys have answered some of the polls. We've got 1 or 2 more coming. And that's a great opportunity now to lead up to coffee. So I definitely see there's a couple of coffee invites. Thanks, Alta. We'll definitely do that coffee thing. But I think that's where webinars for me plays quite an interesting role, is because I can sort of interact and build a little bit more trust. And then hopefully once we can all come out of our caves and the coronavirus dies down, or at least, you know, calms down a bit, then we can definitely do coffee with selected guys. So lastly, this webinar, this event isn't a long event. It's intended to be short, to explain to you guys the power of and the role where webinars play, in my view, in the sales channel, in turning a business, any business, into the ability to sell, is to build more trust by having webinars. So why did I develop and have my team, Annalise and Melanie, involved in We Speak? Well, the idea is to build a network where people have specialist and very senior speakers, and then listeners can actually interact with them. I call it the Justin Bieber concept. And I don't know if there are other believers out there. I must say I like the guy. I followed him since he was young, but not less his personality than how he got popular. In prior to Justin Bieber, and that's why I call it Justin Bieber's concept, because he was sort of one of the first guys to do this. I'm just going to scroll on. I see I've completely forgotten to progress my slides here. But what Justin Bieber did is, prior to him getting on stage, is you would follow Michael Jackson or Madonna or something from you. Obviously, I'm from the 80s, but you never had a relationship with them. You always saw them on the albums they made, or you saw them in Huisgenoot or You magazine. But all of a sudden, at the time Justin Bieber came in, and the other artists, Twitter and these platforms became available. And all of a sudden, as someone in South Africa, you can send a complete stranger but a superstar a message, and he would respond to it. In other words, you've got someone, you all of a sudden have direct access to really big players in the market. And that's what we want to achieve with We Speak. I would love to have professional speakers on. We are currently talking to guys that are doing talks on business, on psychology, on coping with stress, on sales, marketing. And that's my last sort of poll for today. Is I want to ask you guys, this is it, I'm going to activate it now, is in the webinar experience that I've now given you guys, you can see obviously the platform that we've developed on We Speak, is I'm very keen to see is what are your opinions on what you'd like to see on this type of platform. Speakers on how to be a better entrepreneur, how to sell better, how to market better, how to cope with stress, Yeah, I see the answers are coming in wild and hectic here. Thanks, guys, for all answering. I really appreciate it. And there's definitely a tendency. What is interesting, I don't know if you guys can see, I think I've turned results are private. Okay, so you guys can't see the results. I'm not going to change it now because I'm going to have to play around with it. But what is very interesting is that there's almost no one that says they want to do marketing, which is fabulous news for me, because my workshop, the one I told you about of last year, the big picture of modern day marketing, actually has very little to do with marketing. It's got to do with selling. So my personal opinion is that marketing for me is a means to an end. And that means to an end is to sell. So again, to just bring it back, obviously I'm very closely related to sales, selling or selling using technology and then closing a sale. And for me, webinars and online events, shall I rather call it then, is sort of the glue that can bring that two together. So to lastly end it off is I'm gonna close this off by just giving you guys a final thought of how to engage with WeSpeak. So the first invitation is that if you are a speaker, if you are a what we call a subject matter expert, you don't even need to be a public speaker, but you do need to know your subject matter quite well. We'd love to talk to you. So please, on the website, there's a Become a Speaker section. Please fill it in. We've got a little process to go through, some training, some discussions, but it'll be great to have you on board as a speaker in your topic. We already cover about 8 industries, from entrepreneurial, marketing, sales, business, psychology, anything like that. Definitely please sign up for our newsletter. There's a pop-up on the website that you can fill in, as well as at the bottom of the homepage. And then leave comments on this forum. You guys have been very active so far. I'm very glad. Rob, CRM, definitely. So apart from WeSpeak and my love for sales, obviously we've got, not obviously, but we've got various other companies. And the one company that it's like children, you're not allowed to say which one is your favorite. But I have to say I do have a favorite one. And the company is called Sales, with a Z at the end. So you can go there, sales.co.za. But Sales all focuses on selling using a CRM system, a customer relations management system. So definitely, Rob, we'll chat to you guys about that. And I see I've got a couple of coffee invites. Donnie, we'll have the virtual coffee once we can come out of our caves. But guys, in summary, that's sort of me. I want to leave you with a final thought of leaving comments. Please follow the newsletter. I'm still online now, so ask a couple of questions. I'll go through them, questions and answers. Let's see here. Okay, Ed, definitely, we're able to speak to SMEs, final governments, including practical financial cash flow. Absolutely. If there's one of the, I didn't ask it in the poll, but one of the areas we'd love to have speakers on are in the financial industry, for the fintech industry. I see there's a couple of comments on talking about sales. Alta, I know your background, so that'll be great. Rob, very, very practical question. How do you think the business will change after COVID? My honest opinion, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I've survived bankruptcy. For those that know me, I've survived, wealth as well. And I have to say, surviving wealth is one thing. But my view of where the business is, I think the world has changed permanently. I think that COVID is like this big injection that got stuffed into the world. So I won't say I'm pro-COVID, because there are thousands of people dying and suffering from it, but it's definitely taken people out of their hectic business lives, put them in their homes and said, listen, chill, and let's see what happens. The problem is, if we all come out of our homes, I definitely think the spending patterns of clients will change. I think the use of technology is getting a massive boost. I think people are now getting comfortable with webinars and online meetings. Why? Because they're forced to do that. I have questions also of, why don't I use Skype or Zoom? The basic question there is that Skype can't do what a webinar does, and Zoom, although a lot of my meetings are in Zoom, you need to be technically quite sharp to understand Zoom. So I think one of the things that will change is, after COVID, for businesses, is the ease of using technology. Platforms like this one, we're using a webinar platform called Demio. It's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't use downloads. And that means that all of a sudden it's now easier to do webinars. I'm fairly certain if I set this webinar up as a Zoom session, I wouldn't have had anyone that's able to sign in. So I think business has changed personally, completely afterwards. I think the use of technology has changed after this. I think consumer patterns are changing afterwards. And I think I'm going to have an absolute jaw analyzing what sales are going to do. Donnie, absolutely. Fourth industrial revolution plus COVID-19 is a total reinvention. That's a fantastic statement. The fourth industrial revolution that came at this stage, and then you've got COVID-19, is absolutely a reinvention. I'll tell why Skype can't do what we do here. So Skype is obviously a quite a popular. We use it ourselves as a business. But within Skype, you basically, it's almost sort of everything or nothing. So within software, systems have very overlapping functionality. But I always try, as a techie that's been in technology and development for 30 years, always try and look at what the software was primarily aimed to do. And within Skype for me has been a interaction where you've got a smaller team that constantly talks, types, and goes in, and where a webinar is more a presentation side with some limited buy-in. It'll be interesting to see how Skype is used. I know the guys from Zoom are struggling to keep up. Let's say COVID will make a big change in the future. Absolutely, Martin. And as a small business, yeah, I think the small businesses I've been talking to, I must be honest, I don't know about you guys. This is a private chat, so please give me an indication. Are you currently thriving or surviving? And by definition, those that have been on my workshop would know that by definition, thriving is anything above staying afloat. In other words, I'm making money. I can actually chill. I've got a couple of months of survivability. Surviving is obviously just keeping head above water, maybe not even getting head above water. Thanks, Alta, for that one. Great comment. But yes, that's absolutely. I can see the majority. I should probably have done that as a quiz. Let me quickly show you guys how quickly I can do that. I'm quickly going to say, are you surviving or thriving at the moment? If my spelling is right, surviving and thriving. This is also a bit of an example of how quickly and how easily I can now do a poll. So please, guys, that's my next poll. Are you currently surviving or thriving at the moment? The reason why I'm doing it as a poll is it's now part of my webinar, and I can actually get some idea of where you guys are in it. And it's a private poll, so don't worry, it's all confidential. Okay, so that basically brings me almost up to half an hour. Guys, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting to you. Thank you for everyone's involvement. And yes, I mean, your comments have been, we've had tons of comments. You guys are welcome to add on thumbs up. And again, final thoughts on the presentation. I'm going to stop the sharing here. Let's stop that. You guys can see me now fully. Is leave some comments, follow the newsletter, and if you are a speaker, please sign up to become a speaker. And on the newsletter, we're also going to send out, I'm tracking who's interested in what and who's following what webinars, which means that definitely our emails going out will be very personalized. And a final thank you for your time. You guys, I really put great value in you guys giving myself some time. I always see, I'm a big follower of Rich Mulholland, and he always says that I don't give half an hour to you guys. You guys all cumulatively give half an hour to me. So I really, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys, and thank you for the comments and the involvement. And until next time, I'll see you guys online. Thanks a lot, and cheers. Enjoy your day.